Good day, America, and this is Solutions for Life. I'm Dr. Gerald Coy, brought to you by the Share Foundation, a public, nonprofit charitable organization dedicated to improving your health, offering choices in life, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. Choices everywhere from the beginning of life towards the end of life. And believe me, it does come to an end. But the better you take care of yourself, the longer away that end will be. So we're going to start today with how you make those choices. And you make choices everywhere from what you eat, how you take care of yourself, your lifestyle, whether or not you're a couch potato or you exercise. You make the choices as the doctors you see and how you take good care of yourself. You make the choices to how you will let stress affect your life or what you will do to keep your body doing better, whether or not you exercise it or not. And in the beginning, that I've heard that term used before. Yeah, let's talk about pregnancy and even getting pregnant. There is so much you need to do to take good care of yourself. In most cases, pregnancy just kind of happens. But for a lot of people, it is a choice, and it is a choice in which they even prepare themselves for. Men can prepare themselves by better nutrition. Women can prepare themselves for better nutrition. There's a lot of people out there that are having difficulty with pregnancy. The stress of life and the difficulties they're having in their day-to-day activities are such that they're not able to conceive that easily. And people ask me, so what can I do? Well, there's nutritional things you can do. There's a lot of good choices, a lot of good nutrition that's out there. And if you want to find out more about it, you can call the Share Foundation, the Share Clinic, at area code 562-776-1727. We offer free consultations, even in dealing with pregnancy. We won't go into the details of it, but we will talk about the nutrition for it. But there's also people that have had other issues, neurological issues. I remember when I was first in practice, and there was a young lady that came to me, and she talked about having gone through menopause at the age of 34. That's way too young. So somehow her body was not working the way it should be. And when it wasn't working the way it should be, there can be a reason why. Your nervous system controls the function of your body. And she had been injured. She came to our office. I'm a chiropractor. She came for chiropractic care, and there was spinal involvement in which we worked with her to remove it. Not only did the pain go away, but her body started functioning better. So much better that she came back in a few months later and says, "Doctor, I'm pregnant, and I told my husband it was all because of you." And I corrected her. I says, "Please, I hope you didn't tell your husband that it was all because of me." But it was in the sense that we removed interference in her body, so her body was more susceptible and able to function normally, and she was able to get pregnant. So you need to know that there are choices you can make. You don't need to be on a bunch of drugs. You don't necessarily need to be taking in vitro fertilization, which can cost $10,000 a whack and is only probably about 10% successful. If you want to waste your money, go ahead. I'd rather you put it in a college fund for a natural birth. But what about pregnancy? Pregnancy is something you need to make sure you have good nutrition. You're preparing your body to deliver a child. And delivery is something that so many women are fearful of. And as a man, I cannot speak to the issue. I just know that there's a lot of male doctors out there scaring the hell out of a lot of young ladies about pregnancy. And they're scaring them about what might happen to your child. And just like an insurance salesman, they'll tell you, what if, what if, what if, to the point that in pregnancy, over 1/3 of births are now by cesarean section. That is not natural. There is no connection with the men. There is connection with the child, but there isn't that natural process taking place as it was designed to. Medicine has taken over pregnancy as if it were a disease that they're going to terminate in 9 months. I always love it when people say that, well, your due date is such and such. And I want to know, was the doctor there when the child was conceived? They don't know. They're guesstimating. And I loved a new article that came out on delivery where it talked about how your due date can be within about a 10-day period or even longer, up to 2 weeks. So, depending on how your pregnancy has gone, depending upon how the development has come along, don't be so exacting. Oh, you're due today. Well, tomorrow we better take this child by cesarean section. Doctors do not necessarily care about anything more than the money and the fees they're going to get and to make sure the delivery goes according to their schedule. You know, this is the most natural process of life. You need to prepare for it. You need to exercise for it. I truly believe that we should get rid of more doctors and have more midwives. There are maybe 3 to 4% of births that may have complications, but not 30 to 40% of the cesareans that are being given. Doctors always like to be in control. Ladies, you are in control. This is your pregnancy. Find a conservative doctor if you want, or find a midwife. There are doctors who make too many mistakes. Infant and maternal mortality in this country is higher than in some of the second world countries. Cuba has less infant and female mortality when it comes to birthing. Slovenia. These are countries that you would think, oh, they don't have any good care. Countries where 80% of the births are by midwives have lower maternal mortality and infant mortality. We're doing something wrong in this country, and you better pay attention to it because it can cost you your child's life or your own life. But then we're going to find out about other choices you might make. Choices for your infant. You know, it's so important that you breastfeed. Even though medical doctors said in the past, oh, it doesn't make any difference, they were wrong then as they've been wrong so many times before. But it is the mother's choice. You need to make sure your child's getting the nutrients that are going to allow that child to have and build the resistance in their new life. They've come out of a protected world in your womb, and here they are out there in this new world of germs and bacteria, all part of their normal environment, that they need to build their resistance. I remember when my aunt brought in a child, or my cousin, into the chiropractor my mother worked for. The child was colic. It was crying and crying. And in somewhat humor, my aunt mentions, says, now I know why mothers may kill their children. Because she wasn't getting any sleep. The child was continually crying and didn't know what to do. Took to the medical doctor, nothing they could do. Took the child to a chiropractor. Yeah, even a baby, even an infant. You see, that birthing process is pretty rough. Yeah, a lot rougher for the mother in many ways, but it's also rough on the newborn. Pushing out of that opening and everything else, the head's getting jammed, the spine is getting jammed as everything begins to contract, and especially with medical procedures that force the pregnancy to be the delivery by giving drugs that cause contractions, not the rhythmic contractions of a normal birth, but just simply contract. And this can hurt a child. And these children can be born with injuries that can also cause later development and even death. But the child that has these traumas many times have a rough go in the first months of life. The child went to a chiropractor. My mother says, come on, bring the baby in, laid on the table, and the chiropractor gently placed its fingers on the spine and felt things go, give, release. And the child was asleep for the first time in days as it left the office. But there's also other injuries that can come about by birth, and those injuries can lead to sudden infant crib death. Death. Children that quit breathing. There was a study done on children who have been born by the use of forceps. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen a picture of a forceps birth, but the doctor grabs hold of that head and he just kind of twists on it, and he says it's for better control. But he can damage even at the base of the skull, which is the respiratory center for that newborn baby. And what happens with children with sudden infant crib death? They stop breathing. There was a study done that related that the major cause in infant crib deaths was many times the forceps delivery, done by medical research. Again, You better know who's delivering your baby, how your baby's going to be delivered, what are the choices you're going to have in developing your pregnancy, ending your pregnancy, and bringing a new child into life, and how that child is going to be supported. You know, these are the choices that women make. And I've often said that women make choices, in fact, make 95% of the choices. And in these choices, they decide, what they're going to feed the baby, what they're going to, how they're going to, excuse me, I'm having a little audio problem here, trying to hear how things are going on. Anyway, there we go. I can finally hear myself talk. Not that it's always that good, but I do my best. So here we have children that start growing up, and they get into trouble. They start walking. Oh, they don't start walking. I think they hit the ground running. And you have your toddlers, and people don't realize that toddlers can be injured also. You have these little kids that are curious. Everything around them, they are absorbing. It is going into their brain, in their little computer brain. Everything they see, everything they touch, everything they stick in their mouth, which is just about everything. And they want to know. They're absorbing all this as they develop their brain. And it's very, very important. Don't prevent your child from experiencing life. Don't hold them back. Let them get out there and find out what's going on, but just make sure they stay safe. But it's hard to watch kids, and especially when you've got 2 or 3 or 4 or more of them. But toddlers will get off and get going. They'll say, "Oh, I know that cookie jar up on top of the refrigerator. I want a cookie," and they will find their way of getting up to it. And they may fall off the counter and hit their head or hurt themselves, and they'll come running to mama. And they'll be crying, and mama will look down and says, "What's the matter?" And since they've been doing something they shouldn't have been doing, what are they going to say, Mom? Nothing. There's nothing wrong. And when we come back shortly, we will talk about raising kids and the choices that the mother and father need to make in having them raise them up as healthy children. We'll be right back. The Share Foundation is the health division of the Coy Chiropractic Institute, a 501c3 509A2 public nonprofit organization dedicated to the growth and development of the natural health care services, in particular through the chiropractic profession, offering health services at the Share clinics in the greater Los Angeles area. Your donations can help in expanding these facilities across the nation, research programs, and public education, thus offering a solution to the many of the health challenges we face. Your donations are tax deductible and can be sent through our website at www.sharefoundation.com. That's www.cherfoundation.com by clicking on the donation button. Thank you.
Do we have your attention? When it comes to tequila, 2 things matter: heart and passion. Never compromising integrity for mass production. Number 1 Tequila delivers the goods. Taste the heart and passion of Mexico.
Been in an accident? Then you need your vehicle professionally repaired. That's exactly what you get when you bring your vehicle to Greg's Auto Body Repair. 3 quotes within minutes. We will provide everything you need for a hassle-free auto body repair, from an accurate estimate to working with your insurance company. We will get your vehicle to its pre-accident condition as soon as possible. Greg's Auto Body has been serving Los Angeles County and local cities since 1970. Call us at 562-789-1300.
A home is the biggest investment in most people's lives. Buying or selling should be a positive experience.
Whether you want to be a wealthy real estate investor or just trying to find a place to call home, At AJR and Associates, we focus on the client's needs.
We understand the market better than most. Let us bring the value to you and make the right choice.
AJR and Associates, making your dream house a reality. Call us today for a free consultation at 562-882-1976. Or you can log on to www.hrrealtors.com.
With a track record of great results, bringing knowledge, wisdom, and expertise to you. Hablamos español.
And we're back. Trying to make better choices is what we're talking about today. And it's hard. Sometimes you don't know what to do. Sometimes you don't even know what choices you have. But I do know that if we all get together and make better choices, as Dr. Oz says on television, he says that 80% of our chronic conditions are due to the choices we make. Basically, what he's talking about are the bad choices that we make. The smoking, the drinking, the drugs, the lifestyle we live, and all the things we do to hurt our body. So what we're talking about today is going to be what better choices you can make and to be aware of what's going on. Right now we're talking about children. We were talking about toddlers who may be climbing up to the counter and falling off of it, and you don't know about it. In fact, parents, I hate to tell you, you don't know probably half the accidents and injuries your kids are in. I remember when I was a young teenager and I was at the beach with my family. I was in the water and a big wave hit me and I did cartwheels to the point where I heard my neck go crunch as my head and neck and body hit the sand. I reached back on my neck to see if I could feel it. I could feel it, and I did what any teenager would generally do. I looked over to see if my mother saw it, and she didn't, so I got back in the water. But had I been injured? Yeah, I was injured. To what extent? I'm young, I'm flexible, I'm invulnerable, I'm a teenager. And therefore, I was probably never checked out at that. I know I was never checked out at that time, but I do know that's one of the many, many accidents that occurred in my life where I was never really evaluated. I fell off of horses, I fell out of trees, I did all sorts of things, but I must have had good bones because something didn't get broken. And that's usually when it comes to really making a choice, is you don't know about it until something's so bad, either someone's bleeding or they've broken something. But there's a lot of injury that can happen to your body that is repetitive. Those falls, those accidents, those injuries, those sports, the things that we do in life that will hurt our body. And sometimes we get reactions from these injuries. In my early practice, I had a young couple bring in their child who was 6 years old, wasn't sleeping well and everything else, and she had fallen off the off the top bunk bed, and ever since then, now here she was 6 years old, and she became a bedwetter. Now, what does bedwetting have to do with chiropractic? A lot. Because when she fell and hurt herself, she hurt her spine. And developed in her spine nerve interference that controlled the bladder. So she'd go to sleep, the control wasn't there, and she would wet the bed. And of course, they took her to the medical doctor who said, well, there's trauma, there's emotional trauma, the child is acting out, and all this stupidity that is often dealing in the care of children. We have a call here. And hello. And who am I speaking to?
Hi, this is Nancy. I was actually calling just to see how do I know I'm actually making good choices for my kids. I'm a single mom with a newborn, so I wanted to see what suggestions you might have for me.
How many kids you got?
One.
One. You're new mama, huh?
Yes.
Oh, congratulations! And it's going to be a joy in your life and a heartbreak in your life. But making the choices, as we have shown up on the screen at times, it shows women reading books and looking online. I encourage you to learn. There is so much information out there. How old is your child?
2 months.
A month?
2 months.
2 months. Are you breastfeeding?
Yes.
Good. Congratulations. And that is one of the most important things you can do for your child, because you are transferring from yourself, your immune knowledge into that little baby that's going to help that child develop. The thing is the more you can avoid the toxicity in your child's life, I believe is one of the biggest keys in the choices you make. The nutrition you have as a single mom, it's hard. It's hard to balance out earning a living and taking care of a home and taking care of a child, but a lot more can be done if you set your direction. You say, if I prepare this, if I plan that, that you can make these choices of better nutrition for your child as your child gets older. I believe in making sure a child gets the good nutrition of fresh vegetables and fresh fruits as they get older. As an infant and everything else, you'll be mixing up things maybe for the child or buying some cans and bottles of stuff, but trying to stay away from anything that has a lot of preservatives. These are the early choices you have. Um,
Okay.
but also, as the child grows and develops, when you're changing a diaper, you can even play with a child. You can push on their legs, and they'll push back, and they'll grab hold of your fingers because they love you. You are their special person in life, and you can actually begin exercising, and the child will pull themselves up because you want the child to start developing their muscular strength, and you want to encourage it. You want to get them in a situation where they'll start using their body more, because as they do, I hate to tell you, then they start walking and they start running, and then you have
Mhm.
to start chasing them, and it's a little bit difficult. But these are the things that will help your child develop. If you come into a situation where the child has a health challenge, you need to look at, what choices you make. Running off to the doctor sometimes only leads to prescriptions of drugs and things like this, and I'm not a great fan of that. But if it's something you feel is serious, obviously you want to take the child to the doctor to get their opinion. You find out what their opinion is, and then you have to make a decision whether you need another opinion or whether that opinion is something you're willing to follow. Uh, but in most times, the doctor will just reassure you that, hey, let the child rest and the body will heal. Always know that only the body heals. Drugs don't heal. Doctors don't heal. Only the body heals. And that's what, as your child falls and bumps their head and scrapes their knees and everything else, is that you are there to help them stay clean, stay healthy, and make choices that are going to be the best at that time. You can't always plan on what choices you're going to make, but you can kind of think of what direction you want to go. And the most important thing is good nutrition and being active. Keep them not in front of the television quite so much. But I wish you well with your new child, and as they grow older, maybe we'll speak again. And you take good care. As a new mother, it's hard to make a lot of those decisions, and as they get older, you're going to make even more. As we talked about the bedwetting couple, they brought the child in, the child's spine was checked, and the child was adjusted. You can take a child to a chiropractor to be checked out. If that child isn't sleeping well, this is one of the things that I didn't mention to the new mother. But generally, as long as the child is sleeping well, is pooping well, is the surface is clean and there's not developing any kind of rash and everything else, is bright and alert, and taking on the good nutrients, that's the best you can expect with your child, as long as you're making sure they get the rest they need and making sure that they're kept clean, the surface of their body is kept clean, and they're allowed to be as active as they possibly can, rolling around and doing whatever is necessary, playing with them, holding their hands, pushing on their legs to get them stimulated and moving. That's what's going to happen. It's kind of like what happens when someone's 90 years old. It's kind of like you want to make sure they're eating okay, sleeping okay, pooping okay. But as the child grows, there's other things that will come into play. Now, I am not a great believer in vaccinations. It's a law in many ways, but if it's against your faith and everything else, there is a way of opting out. I believe this is a toxin in the system. I don't agree with it, and there will be all sorts of people who say, "Oh, you're a bad parent" and everything else. I believe it's a choice you need to be able to make, and you need to be free to make. And then there's a lot of information online, a lot of information out there where it raises question as to whether or not, are you playing Russian roulette by vaccinating your child, or are you playing Russian roulette by not vaccinating your child? I'm on the side that you're playing a little bit of a Russian roulette when you do, because you're putting toxins in that body. I believe that we were created perfect. I believe that we were created with all the elements we need to live a healthy life by that which created us. And I don't believe doctors created anybody. All they do is treat symptoms and put a lot of toxins in our body, and I think it creates damage. So as kids get older and you look at that possibility of vaccination, that'll be a choice that you have to make. I think there's a yay and a nay there, but it's not one that I want to get into in depth here. But you're going to find that there are children who get sick a lot. There are children who get the flu all the time and colds all the time. And these children, there's something not right in their body. It could be that they need chiropractic care. It could be there's other service challenges that are going on in their body. Maybe there's a nutritional challenge. Children that are getting colds a lot and flu a lot, something's not right in their body. Something's not maintaining the resistance and the immune system of their body. And children can be taking some supplementations if they're not getting it, or if there's a weakness in their body that will strengthen it. Even babies, even the baby that may be a month or two, if you're breastfeeding, you're getting these transfer factor. You're getting some of the immune molecules that are going to help strengthen that body. But if you're not breastfeeding, you maybe you can't, maybe the development of the milk or whatever it might be, you need to look at other alternatives of that child getting the immune boost that they can. And there are products that are on the market. We can talk to you about them at the Share Foundation. If you'd like to have more information, again, call the Share Foundation at area code 562-776-1727. Leave a message and we will get back to you. But children who get a lot of these conditions, I'm not one to get the flu shot. I don't get the flu shot. My mother, who's 92, 93, doesn't get the flu shot. It is not in our family. We take better care of ourselves. We make sure we're getting the rest our body needs in most cases, taking good care of our bodies, not putting a lot of toxin in it. And we take a lot of products that boost our immune system and help us to be stronger and more resistive. Does that mean we never get the cold or never get the flu? No. It generally means that our body's more resistive, and so as we may come down with something, if we come down with it, where our body's a lot stronger to fight it off and heal a lot faster. I know because I do a lot of lecturing. I go out. Yesterday was an 18-hour day, and sometimes I feel my throat getting a little tingling, and I will boost my immune activity in my body with natural products. Not out there taking drugs, not taking over-the-counter drugs, not taking things that can do harm to your body. When we come back, we're going to start dealing with teenagers and young adults, and we will talk about more and more about the choices you make and how you can have a healthier life. I'll be right back.
Looking for a delicious, fresh family meal that's ready when you are and easy on your budget? Welcome to Piara Pizza. We make our pizzas with handmade dough, 100% real cheese, and tomato sauce blended with our own spices. Nothing is ever frozen. We always have large pepperoni and cheese pizzas fresh and waiting for you for only $5. Or choose one of our specialty pizzas. We have veggie, meat lovers, supreme, and Hawaiian. Add an order of our amazing hot wings, cheesy bread, or breadsticks. Our locations are ultra-modern, ultra-clean, and open 7 days a week. Visit any one of our locations today, or check us out on the web at www.piarapizza.com. Piara Pizza. Fresh, hot, and ready for you when you come in. Stop in for your Piara Pizza today.
Hi, I'm Alex Alanise,
And I'm Alonso Rodriguez,
and we are Real Estate Rant, every Wednesday morning between 10 and 11 a.m.
here at the Towers of Rant Radio Network.
No problems, just solutions. Be sure to call in with your real estate problems, rants, questions, or comments, and let us try to find you a solution.
Tell us about an experience, good or bad.
And finally, bury the hatchet once and for all.
In the world of real estate, find a fresh perspective. There's a lot more than meets the eye.
Help us to ensure the public trust, one rant at a time.
Hi, I'm Paul Lane, host of the KCAA Morning Show, and I'd like to take a few seconds to tell you about pollen bursts. You may not know, but I've been confined to a wheelchair for over 20 years, and I've always looked for ways to increase my energy, mental clarity, and just feel good. Well, I found it in pollen bursts. It's natural, delicious, and easy to take, and I think you should try some too. To find out more, email me at paul@kcaaradio.com. That's paul@kcaaradio.com. Hey, join me so we can burst together.
Are you watching the game at home? Why? Come watch it at Mambo Grill, the hottest spot in Downey. You'll have good food, drinks, and a great time at a low price. We have the coldest beer in our sports bar, where you can enjoy the game on any of our huge flat screen TVs. And when your home team wins, you get 25% off anything in Mambo Grill. We're on Downey Avenue, 1 block north of Firestone, or visit us on the web. Mambo Grill, love at first bite.
What up, foodie freaks? It's Chef Bev Lazo with the Culinary Trend Show. Join me and my brigade every Thursday night from 8 to 9 p.m. where we will be cooking up some crazy stuff that will give you the appetite for discussion. It's all about the good food, good friends, and good times. Only here on rantradionetwork.com.
And we're back. I'm Dr. Gerald Coy, and this is Solutions for Life. We're talking about choices today. We've been talking to single moms who have to make choices regarding their child. It's hard, especially when you don't have a support mechanism around you. Hopefully, there's a grandmother or some others that will help support and help make things a little bit easier. It's rough being a new mom. Anyway, we were talking about kids. We're talking about your choice, whether or not you vaccinate or not. We're talking about teenagers that start seeing the wonderful opportunity to play sports. Folks, I hate to tell you this, but I don't like contact sports. I believe it does too much injury to the human frame. I played football, and a lot of people have, and there's been coaches that are proclaiming how wonderful and everything this is. But this is where your child can get hurt an awful lot. And that pain and that discomfort of that moment can lead on into life to where you have a child who's getting shoulder replacements and hip replacements and knee replacements. Ask the coaches that have had those replacements from their day of playing sports. I believe that sports is a fantastic way for the body to gain strength and agility and be healthier. I believe in sports to get the body more active. But do I believe in beating each other with gloves? I don't care if they are cushioned. I don't care how much cushioning you put around the body. And we found this out about concussions. Now, I want you to look at somebody when they talk about concussions, about how that head may be rattling the brain around when it gets traumatized. But look what's just below the head. You have a neck. 7 little cervical vertebrae that are being traumatized. You think that a whiplash injury can only come from when you get rear-ended in a car? I got news for you. These young athletes are being whiplashed right and left. I see them in my office. I see the damage that's done. Be careful of sports that cause the body trauma. I had 2 young ladies that come in, and their mother is their coach. They play soccer. And it's a wonderful, think about running around kicking a ball. But what about when that ball is in the air and they're using their young head and necks to hit that ball back? I saw 2 young athletes who had lost the cervical curve in their neck. That means it was bending backwards. And they were experiencing maybe a little bit of discomfort, but they're young, they're flexible, no big deal. I got news for you, young ladies who never got it corrected, that in your later years in life, you're going to have more and more problems. And there's going to be disc degeneration, there's going to be damage to that spine, and you're going to start developing nerve interference in your cervical spine that's going to affect your arms, your shoulders. It may cause headaches, it may cause all sorts of problems that will be due to the days you played soccer using your head. I'm sorry, folks. I do not like that aspect of the game. Kick the ball around. It's okay. It's one thing to damage your ankle. It's another thing to damage your knees. But when you start damaging the spine, you can affect the nervous system of the body and causing damage that will last the rest of that person's life. So sports, come on, folks. Get rid of the contact sports. If you have a son that wants to play football, see if you can get him into something else. Get him into something. That doesn't mean there can't be injuries from gymnastics. You know, you're doing the flip and you're landing on your head. You know, you can. I had when I was in school, in high school, one of the worst accidents was in the gymnastics. Someone falling and hitting and breaking their neck and being paralyzed for the rest of their lives. It can happen in any sports. I'm not saying that I want to ban sports. I just think that the continuous aspect of trauma, of beating each other up, whether it's by boxing or by football or things where there's contact sports, I think we need to rethink that whole process. And now we have young men who will get inside of a cage and cage fight and beat the hell out of each other if it's a sports. We have 110 million people watching the Super Bowl. I don't expect my little voice to be heard very far, but believe me, you are only hurting your body and you're damaging it, and you're going to pay the price later on in life. In college, you learn how to cut corners. You learn how not to eat. You learn how to run and grab something quick to eat because you don't have time for it because there's just too many parties to go to. You learn how to drink too much. You learn how to not get rest and play around and enjoy life for the first time because you are free of parental controls, and you get sick. You don't rest. You study last minute cramming night after night to pass those final exams or the midterms, and you're hurting yourself. Folks, you're not doing yourself any help by doing these things to your body. But we learn, but we also pay the price. How do I know this? Because I did it when I was in college. I didn't get the rest I needed, and I got myself sick. And as so many of young people, when they're in college getting sick, they call home. Who do they speak to? They speak to mom. What should I do? And we get the advice that so many mothers give to make sure we recuperate. As young adults and as individuals who start driving more, and also as teenagers, we learn what it's like when two vehicles collide together and how much damage can be done to our bodies. Sometimes it's irreparable. Sometimes it is damage that's done that can cost us our lives. But when we talk about auto accidents, what kind of care do we get? Whether you be young, whether you be old, whether you be one that's on the road all the time. Auto accidents cause an awful lot of physical damage. Damage that isn't always with broken bones or death, but damage and trauma such as whiplash and trauma to the spine that you're going to pay a price later on. You have soft tissue injury that needs to be repaired. But we have a bunch of attorneys out there wanting to make a living. So they get you and they say, oh, come in. I will send you to my doctor and you will get paid this 1/3 of a settlement. So the doctor gets paid 1/3 of a settlement and the attorney gets his 1/3 of a settlement. That is an immoral process. Don't ever accept it. Go to the doctor of your choice who's going to take honest care of you and make sure your body is restored as much as possible due to that accident or that injury. If you get something out of it, fine. But is an attorney going to help you? If he's an honest attorney, if he makes sure that your doctor gets properly paid. Because if you go to a doctor of the lawyer's choice, and that doctor knows he's only going to get paid half or a third of his fees, what kind of care are you really going to get? Be very, very leery of attorneys referring you to their doctor and doing any kind of a split on the fees. It is immoral. I do not recommend it. And if I can hear from all the attorneys that want to yell and scream at me, they yell and scream at me all the time anyway. I really don't care. If you don't care about the health and welfare of your client, I have no time for you either. So, again, as adults, we start paying the price for the foolishness of our youth. We start paying the price for the accidents we have, from the sports we played, from the injuries, and from all the abuse of our body. We start paying for that indulgence in alcohol. We start paying the price for smoking and then the other things that we do to our body. And we wonder, why? Well, we're told by the doctor, you're just getting older. Not the fact that you've been smoking for 10, 15 years and you've done damage to your lungs. Not that you've eaten a lot of toxicity and taken drugs that hurt your body. Oh, no, it's just you're getting older. I got news for you. You need to start taking care of yourself from birth, from the womb to the tomb. And these are the choices you're going to make as adults, as women. What kind of choices do you make? What choices do you make in having children and bearing the children? How do you plan your meals? How do you cook your foods? Do you have the support of a family that's going to help you to make sure that they eat naturally, nutritionally? Are you supplementing their diets? What are you doing? Because women, you make 95% of the health choices. Men, you need to step up and be responsible to support those choices and help that family be healthier. Make sure your children are active. It always bothers me when I see a mother doing all the work. Here she is. She's taking good care of herself and she's taking good care of the kids. And here comes Papa, who's got a gut on him and goes in and sits and watches television while she cooks dinner as usual, even though she works 8 hours a day. Come on, folks, you've got to participate. Men, stand up, be part of that family, and help that family to be healthier. But you got to realize that the drugs you get used to taking, I'm taking that Tylenol for my headache, or I'm taking this drug or that drug, or acid indigestion pills and for my stomach, or I'm taking birth control pills, or I'm taking whatever it is. All these pills that we as adults have taken as if they were normal. These are all drugs. Drugs for our headaches, drugs to prevent pregnancy, drugs to make us feel better, drugs for this, that, or the other. And yet, what do we tell our kids? Just say no to drugs. What you do speak so loudly, they don't hear what you say. So what do our kids do? They go out and they take drugs so they can feel better, just like you're taking drugs so you can feel better. What we teach our youth is what they're going to envision in their future. If they see you as always sick, always taking drugs, always taking poor care of yourself, their idea of being older is one of I don't want to get older. I knew a friend in college. He didn't want to get older because all he knew is that old people got sick all the time. And guess what? He died at 56. He didn't take care of himself as well as he should have. But I remember when I was young, there was a television program when I was a young kid. There was only 2 channels on the television. I had a great big brand new box on our table. It was a 21-inch TV, black and white. And one of the early programs, in fact, I believe it was the first program of Bob Baker, who's now in his 90s. And it was called Life Begins at 80. And here on that program was a program of all these elderly people who were laughing and joking and enjoying life, sharp-minded. And they were part of an enjoyment that I looked at them and said, I can't wait to be 80. Because I saw that as something that was fun, enjoyable. So, folks, as you're growing up, as you're getting older, what are you teaching your kids? Are you teaching them to smoke? Because if you smoke, they're going to smoke, most likely. My father smoked. My father even told me, he says, son, don't smoke. It's a filthy habit. But I loved my father. My father was my idol. I respected him. And therefore, I went away to college, and what is the first thing I did? I went and bought a package of cigarettes because I wanted to be like my dad. And so I smoked until I realized I didn't like having something in control of me. How could I tolerate this thing burning up in that ashtray as controlling my life? And when we come back, we'll talk about the choices we make in our lifestyles to be healthier. I'll be right back.
Looking for a delicious, fresh family meal that's ready when you are and easy on your budget? Welcome to Piara Pizza. We make our pizzas with handmade dough, 100% real cheese, and tomato sauce blended with our own spices. Nothing is ever frozen. We always have large pepperoni and cheese pizzas fresh and waiting for you for only $5. Or choose one of our specialty pizzas. We have veggie, meat lovers, supreme, and Hawaiian. Add an order of our amazing hot wings, cheesy bread, or breadsticks. Our locations are ultra modern, ultra clean, and open 7 days a week. Visit any one of our locations today, or check us out on the web at www.piarapizza.com. Piara Pizza. Fresh, hot, and ready for you when you come in. Stop in for your Piara Pizza today.
The experts know that for pastry, Baker's Bodega has it all. Exclusive brands like Westco Bankmark, Satin Ice, and Pastry Pride. One-on-one day seminars for cake decorating and gelatin art. So for our service, wide range of ingredients and supplies, and for the low prices, Baker's Bodega has it all. But you don't need to be an expert. Baker's Bodega, 7869 Paramount Boulevard in Pico Rivera. Come, we're waiting for you.
ProTech Carpet Tile and Care provides professional cleaning services for carpet, tile, grout, upholstery, and fine area rugs.
ProTech technicians are professionally trained and certified cleaning and restoration experts.
We specialize in restoring damage caused by heavy soil and odor.
We can remove challenging spots such as coffee, tea, ink, gum, wine, and many more.
We have saved our customers thousands of dollars on new flooring and furniture expenses with our advanced cleaning processes.
Call for a free estimate at 562-447-4300 and visit us on our website, www.myprotectsite.com.
Hey, this is Joe Perez, owner at ProTech. Just reminding you that ProTech Carpet and Tile Care is your professional choice.
We are the Three Guys Rant with Arvin, Mike, and Phil.
Coming to you on the Rant Radio Network every Monday from 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can call us at 855-69-THE-3-GUYS.
It's not the Three Guys. This is why you should turn in, because one has Tourette's, the other one's illiterate.
You really should listen in. You never know what's going to happen.
855-69-3-GUYS, G-U-Y-S, and the number 3, not the.
Faces for radio, voices for the deaf.
Look forward to talking to you.
Hey, I'm audio candy. I don't know about you guys.
And we're back talking about choices we make in our lives and how those choices are going to affect our health and our very lives, how long we may live. Because the things we do, the things that we take and put into our system can affect us in many ways, in ways that we never expected. Did you know that taking multiple Tylenol can damage your kidneys? Multiple can be just, hey, a few every day, for that headache or for that ache or that pain. It's advertised on television. Here, just take this, take that. It's over the counter. You can go buy a bottle of it and start taking all that aspirin, all of that Tylenol, all those drugs. And guess what? Over a period of time, within actually just a few years, your kidney function may be diminished down to about 40%. And then you've got kidney problems and liver problems. But don't worry about it, folks. Medicine has an answer for it because they are building more and more dialysis centers. They destroy your kidneys, they destroy your liver, but they're going to help you. They're going to put you on some machine that's going to keep you alive for another year or two because of the damage that's been done to your body by the drugs they've given you. Look at the commercials, folks. If you really listen to those commercials, you would never take the drugs that they are advertising. In fact, I don't think there should be any advertising those drugs that cause that kind of damage to your body. I believe medical doctors need to stand up and be responsible for the drugs that they give, but they're not. They've relinquished that not only to the advertisement on television, but they've also now have doctors of pharmacy. So the medical doctor doesn't have to worry about it. He just writes the prescription, gives it to you, and you need to go talk to the pharmacist as to how much damage this is going to do to your system, because the medical doctor really doesn't seem to care. He'll just write you another prescription, get paid for his office visit, which really wasn't worth the paper that it was written on. But that's my complaint about medical doctors who abuse their position and overprescribe and overdrug. But you are going to pay the price. There is so much you can do for your body nutritionally without drugs, you need to learn about it. This is why we at the Share Foundation and at the Share Clinic offer free consultations to anyone to come in. Where can you go and get a free consultation with a doctor about better nutrition and taking better care of yourself and being able to make better choices? All you have to do is call. All you have to do is make an appointment, and we are there to offer you a better choice. Call area code 562-776-1727 and make an appointment for a free consultation. We will sit down, we will discuss what your problem is, and make a recommendation that you will have another choice for. We're not going to recommend drugs. We're not going to recommend anything that's going to be damaging to your system. The nutrients we offer are those nutrients that will help your body, support your body, enhance your body, do more for your body than all the drugs on the market. I remember there was a statement once made by the president of what was then just Squibb. Now it's Bristol Myers Squibb. But he was president of this pharmaceutical company. And he made the statement that if we were to throw all of the drugs into the ocean, it would be better off for mankind and worse for the fishes. You have to understand that most drugs are unnecessary and do more damage than good. That you need to do and take better care of yourself. Can drugs be used safely? Yes, in critical situations, in emergency situations. But ongoing care? No. In most cases, they do more damage than good, and you need to be more careful of that because it's going to affect whether or not you have a long life and what kind of life you may have. Doing damage to your kidneys and your liver is one that's going to pay, you're going to pay a price. You may be on dialysis for the last 2, 3, 4 years of life, in pain, in discomfort, caused by taking drugs. Over 100,000 lives a year are lost by doctor, drug, and hospital errors. Over 30,000 by overdoses of prescription drugs. Is that the kind of life you want? I work in Downey, California, at the Share Clinic. This population of Downey is 110,000. Medicine is wiping out my city every year with their mistakes. And those are just the ones that are known. It is estimated that there are probably over 700,000 deaths due to medical error, medical mistakes, and medical procedures. You know, how much do they really claim to save our lives? You know what saves our lives? Taking care of ourselves, making better choices, eating more properly. Now, do we have some of the finest emergency care? Yes. But Senator McConnell, you're full of it. You lied and you said on television that we have the finest medical care. You're wrong. We don't. Because if you look at all the stats of all the countries in the industrialized nations, we are at the bottom. Do we have some of the finest technical help in emergency situations? Yes. But we've got to take better care of ourselves. We've got to stand up and say, hey, no, I don't want these drugs. What can I do naturally? How can I exercise more? How can I take off that extra weight that's hurting my body, that's damaging my system? How can I get more exercise that's going to improve my circulation so my heart works better, my bowels work better, my systems work better? How can I stimulate my mind and not put it to sleep, but stimulate it so that I can think better and the function of my body is better because of how I'm taking care of myself? How can I avoid drugs that are going to do so much damage? How can I take nutrients that be supportive of my natural systems, supporting my heart? There are natural products that you can take for your cardiovascular system. There are natural products you can take for your urinary system. There's natural products you can take to boost your immune system. There are natural products for your digestive system. Natural, no damages to the system. You want to know more about it? Call the Share Foundation. We are a public, nonprofit, charitable organization dedicated to natural health. Isn't that what health is? Health is health. I have to add natural on it because you have medical doctors who think that taking drugs is health. It's not. It's damaging to your body. Surgery is damaging to your body. Yes, there may be a necessity at times to do repair due to accidents, traumas, and injuries, or unforeseen situations, emergency situations. But by and large, we have too much surgery, too much drugs. I remember in 1977, the doctors went on strike in Northern California. They wanted to increase their pay. They wanted more money, as if they weren't getting enough. Guess what? When they went on strike, the mortality rate dropped. Doesn't that tell you something? When that statistic came out, they went back to work very, very fast. But if you're going to a doctor that's just going to give you drugs, if you're going to a doctor that's going to say, hey, there's no other natural thing that you can do, run for the hills, folks, and find a better choice. It is your choice what doctor you go to. It is your choice whether or not you take those drugs. It is your choice whether or not you want to put toxins into your system. It is your choice whether or not you want to get exercise. It's your choice whether or not you're going to overeat or if you're going to take better care of yourself. If you're going to walk, you can park on the other side of the lot. You don't have to get that closest spot. You can walk the mall. And you can do this even as you get older. Yes, you're paying a price for your past mistakes and your past sins as a senior citizen. But folks, even if you're old, you can improve life. Even if you're old, you can take nutrients that will improve your immune system. Even if you're old, you can exercise. Even if you're old, you can stimulate your mind and improve the quality of life. You don't just need to be a drooling blob in the middle of a chair with some fuzzy television going in front of you as if you were really watching it. Taking too many drugs. Do you realize most senior citizens take way too much medication? May it be necessary in the last stages of life? It may be. But be very, very careful. Because most senior citizens are being overdrugged. And they aren't even part of those 700,000 deaths. That's just natural. The body's meant to last 120 to 150 years of age. And yet we drop dead in our 70s and 80s. Something's wrong. We're not even making it all the way. There's more and more people, but it's generally because we're taking better care of ourselves. It's the baby boomers who are out there exercising in the gyms. That's why so many gyms got built, because baby boomers are saying, wait a minute, I don't choose to sit around like my grandmother and grandfather did, get old and die so young. I'm going to do things. I'm going to eat better. I'm going to take better care of myself. I'm not going to get, snockered on some bourbon, but maybe I'll just have a glass of wine, stimulate the body and take care of myself. I'm going to do the things that's going to help me to be healthier and to slow the progression of degeneration and of aging. I got news for you. We're all going to get older, God willing, and we're all going to die. But when we die can be in 70 years, 60 years, or 120 years or longer, if we take better care of ourselves. And I'm not talking about somebody who's going to drool from age 90 to 120. I'm talking about somebody who's maybe working at 100, 102. We have a caller. How can I answer your question? Hello? Oh, I'm sorry. Got the wrong message there. Yes, I've been ranting and raving about the choices you make because it is your choice. We at the Share Foundation want to help you to live a longer and healthier life. Again, consider giving us a call for that free consultation. Area code 562-776-1727. No charge. You can come to the clinic, make an appointment, come to the clinic, and we will sit down with you and listen to what your challenge may be so we can offer you a better choice in life. This is what the Share Foundation is all about, is offering more natural health so you can live a longer and healthier life. But if you're going to do so, your health is your responsibility, not the doctor's. You're responsible for you. And if you're a parent, you're responsible for your kid. I applaud the young lady who called and as a single mom, wondering what choices she could make for her child. There's going to be a lot of things that come up, and God willing, she's going to make the best choice possible. She's going to learn. She's going to needs to get on the television or on the computer and learn what's all out there about child care and the choices that she can make. I don't have all of them here. I don't have all the answers. I'm just one voice talking about making better choices, trying to encourage you to look for them. We live in a computer age now that has a wealth of knowledge in there. You can learn about the damages that come about from vaccinations. You can learn about the damages that come about from the toxicity of in our foods and the antibiotics that is in our meat and the things that are wrong about our food supply. It's hard to decipher all of it, and some of it we're stuck with. But I want you to be out there. I want you to eat better, exercise, take better care of yourself, and we'll speak to you again soon. You take good care. Be healthy.
Wow, y'all listening to Rant Radio Network. Unpredictably entertaining. Wow.
Did you ever want to have your own radio show?
No.
Okay. But if you did, you should call the Rant Radio Network at 855-693-4897.
What was that number again? I don't understand what you're saying.
855-693-4897.
Rant Radio Network is looking for you. Are you